Due to poor wireless.
Good morning, everybody. How are you? I'm going to take this off because it's very difficult to hear. I want to welcome everybody to the 2021 Winter Festival. We're here today at a little bit different location than normal. As you know, we are usually at Burpond State Park in Torrington, but due to the pandemic, we have not had to reschedule it this year to a different location. Can't tell you exactly where we are, but I will tell you we're at a beautiful lake somewhere here in Connecticut. Not sure what you can see behind me, but we have a bunch of our care staff and volunteers that are set up to give you some great experiences today. I know obviously it's virtual, but we will be live streaming for about the first hour today, and then later on this afternoon from 1 to 2. And I probably forgot to do this, but I'm Kristen Bellantuano, the coordinator for the No Child Left Inside program. Videoing right now is Mike Bouchane. There you go. Thanks, Mike. And we have a couple other folks that are out here now that you're going to see in a few minutes. Justin Wiggins, Tom Beret, and Mike, as I already mentioned. We're here today for about 6 hours or so. We're going to be, like I said, live part of the time. And we have a bunch of wonderful presenters and speakers that we have just about every hour on the hour. We'll have folks today talking about all sorts of different things. We'll have a hiking program that starts at 10 o'clock with Matt Jobin with Reach Your Summit. Then after that at 11 o'clock, it's Carrie Schved from White Memorial Conservation Center. She's going to be doing wildlife in winter. She's going to have some live animal interactions. Then after that at 12 o'clock, we're going to have the Girl Scouts. They're going to be joining us to do some letterbox demonstration, some stamp making, as well as hot chocolate science. That's the one I'm going to be definitely tuning into because hot chocolate's one of my favorite things. So after that, about 12:45 or so, we're going to be joined by Lauren Pryor with the Environmental Learning Centers of Connecticut. She's going to be doing a tracking program with us. And then after that, we're going to get back together with our care friends and check in and see how the day went, what we've caught. And a bunch of us are going to be live, especially all the care folks, to answer any questions that anybody has regarding fishing or anything else. So right now, that's my quick welcome. A big thank you to the care staff and volunteers. This is the 15th year that we've been doing the Winter Festival together. So unfortunately, it's a little bit different. We can't be together, but again, this is our next best thing, coming live to you guys with, all sorts of winter activities and most importantly, fishing. Let's see. So I know I'm going to switch over to Mike and Justin in a minute. And I'll be popping in and out probably as the morning goes on, but I think we're going to show you, start with probably some ice safety discussion. They're going to show you about some digging some holes to get the right hole to do some fishing. Some tip-ups are out. There's a little bit of everything going on here, so definitely want to welcome you. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you're all at home, nice and comfortable, and you enjoy the program that we have for you today. Talk to you later.
All right, thank you, Kristen, and we'll see you soon. I'm Mike Bouchane with the Fisheries Division. Happy to have everybody here working with our care program out on the lake. Look at this sky today. Oh, wrong way. Look at that sky up there. Beautiful blue sky, beautiful winter day. So ice fishing is one of the best ways to be out and enjoying a beautiful, now February, day. Be out on the ice, socially distant, and enjoy a lot of things. We have, just do a quick pan around, we have our CARE, Connecticut Aquatic Resource Education instructors out here who would normally be assisting you if you came out to our event, and they're all going to give us some tips and pointers on ice fishing, and you can be out doing it yourself again on another day or anytime soon. So I'm going to start off with Mr. Justin Wiggins.
Am I on?
You're on.
How's it going, Facebook Livers? Do we have anybody watching yet?
We're at 113 people right
now.
Wow. 123. They must like your looks.
Well, welcome everybody to ice fishing. By far my favorite winter activity. As Mike kind of mentioned, we have a bunch of our volunteer fishing instructors. Connecticut Aquatic Resource Education Program is where I work. I'm very fortunate, and I get to work with some of the greatest people in the state of Connecticut. They love fishing. They want to share their love of fishing with all those people who maybe have not been fishing their whole life. They need a little bit of help to get started. So lucky to have these people as friends and volunteers. What we're going to do today is this morning, over the next hour, answer any questions, but we're going to go through ice fishing from start to finish. And I think I'm going to kick it off with ice safety, getting on the ice, and how you should dress for the ice. So, again, one of my favorite things about ice fishing is I love the fresh air. I love eating fish through the ice. There's really no, fish tastes just so good through the ice. I don't know what it is, but you're going to see some. We have some on the ice right now. Very, very delicious meals you can provide.
Is that because it's flash frozen when you take it out?
That could be. Yeah, it stays very fresh. And it's a great thing. You know, I got my nephews and my 5-year-old boy out here. My brother-in-law, friends. It's just a great opportunity to get outside in the winter, get some fresh air, get some exercise, get away from your TV, and catch some fish, you know, and spend some good quality time with friends and family.
All right, Justin, one of the big questions we often get is how do you know if the ice is safe to go on? So maybe we could start with that.
Ice safety, sure. So you got to drill a hole in the ice, okay? That's the only way to know. You need 4 inches of solid, clear ice to walk on for one person. We have here today, let's see, I'm gonna stick my hand in here. You shouldn't do this, but the ice is 7, 8, 9 inches right now, you know, where we are. The thing about it is, though, ice doesn't freeze uniformly. Just because we have 8 inches where we are right now, I was here last weekend and a couple hundred yards away, this lake was wide open. So there's nobody out there you can see. That may not be frozen right now, and it may not be safe. So don't ever assume that ice freezes uniformly. It freezes depending on wind, depending on shade, depending on the aspect of the sun where you are. There's all sorts of different factors. Inlets, outlets. Stay away from moving water. But you cannot assume that ice is frozen uniform. And you got to just take your time when you're getting out to the ice. Drill holes as you go. Some ice fit. So I'm going to show you how to drill a hole in a second here. But some typical ice safety gear that you would bring with you is most people, as we walk around, you'll see a lot of people with things hanging around their necks like this. These are ice spikes, okay? They're great to have with you. If you were to fall in, I've never fallen through the ice. I'm very safe. I'm cautious. Err on the side of caution all the time. But if you were to fall through the ice, this will save your life. And what it is you put these in your jacket, or you could connect them around your neck. There's many different models. But if you were to fall in, you jam these into the ice and pull yourself out. And what happens is there's a big spike right there. So when you stick this in the ice, that spike is going to, this little protector is going to retract, and that spike's going to be in the ice. All right. So we're not going to need these right now because we got 8, 9 inches of ice. The other thing is your feet. The most injuries occur not from falling through the ice, but actually falling onto the ice. Today, we don't have to worry about slippery, sliding ice. We got the snow providing traction. But if it was just glare ice, you would need something on your feet. And there's many different options. I have these are just Yak Tracks. Okay, so you put these around the bottom of your boots. I don't have mine right now because, again, we have the snow. And these little wires provide traction. We could look at some other people. There's micro spikes. There's many different styles and models of things on your feet. I like the Yak Tracks. I don't even know they're on my feet. They're like $15 on Amazon. Just you have to have something on your feet if it's just glare ice. What else? Things you want to bring with you in your sled. Throw bag. If somebody were to be in trouble, you don't want to approach that person. You want to stay clear of that hole and throw them a rope that they can grab onto, and then you can pull them out. If you were to approach that person, I mean, if my kid's in the water, I'm going in with him. But if it's my boss, Mike, I might throw him this rope. I might not.
What?
But you don't want to jeopardize yourself, because if you then fall in the water, then you have nobody to save you. So have a rope with you. Have something where you can throw and help somebody out that way. Seat cushion, you could throw somebody, if you don't have this throw bag, you could tie a rope to a seat cushion, throw that to them. This also comes in real handy for sitting, sitting on a bucket. It'll be nice and comfortable throughout the day. Let's see, what else do we got? So we talked about getting onto the ice. We got a flag up. George, Babby!
He's not.
Oh,
He's not
let's
here,
go
so let's
take
go get
Jordan's
it.
flag.
Yeah, if he's not here, you snooze, you lose, right? So we have what we have out right now is called a tip up, and it's a type of device that sits on the ice, and the line goes underneath with some bait, and then when a fish bites onto the bait, the spool starts to go and it triggers a little release, and up goes this brightly colored flag, which most everybody on the pond or lake will come running over to when they see it, because
I'm thinking this is
it's
a
a flag.
fall.
But it could be.
Nothing.
Oh,
Wind flag.
somebody was tricking us. So
Yeah,
wind flag is when wind pushes it off the trip line right there, and then in it goes. All right,
We'll
so
get into much greater detail.
hopefully we'll have some fish going up.
So, getting out of the ice. So the next thing, we got another flag going. So the fish are biting a little bit. We want to drill a hole in the ice. That's the next thing we got to do after we have all our safety gear. Pick a spot you want to get set up. Oh, sorry. Now when you're drilling a hole, when you're first walking onto the ice, here we see there's got to be 50, 60 people out today. It's a beautiful day. It's one of the first weekends that we have safe ice here in Connecticut, so everybody's itching to get out. You can look at this area and say, okay, we're pretty safe. We don't necessarily have to drill a million holes walking out. But if you didn't see all these people, you got to be sure that this ice is safe. And you're gonna, before you even step out onto the ice, check it with your feet. If you can stomp on it, you could put 2 feet out onto the ice from shore, and then you got to drill a hole. It's the only way to figure out how deep it is. So the way you drill a hole is an auger, all right? And this is a hand auger. It's just a hand drill. Lots of sharp blades down here on the bottom. They're kind of covered in snow because we've been using this, but you want to keep these blades super sharp. And you just very carefully put your auger blade down. There we go. So, 10, 15 seconds to drill through 8 or 9 inches of ice. Keep your blades sharp, okay? That's better. You can see them much better now without them covered with snow. And all that is just a hand, this is a hand drill. So, you got a nice clean hole right there. If you're coming out from shore, you would then test the thickness. So you could grab,
we're looking for our measuring device. Most of there's little ice clear out scoops. They have a little basket on it, and they have a ruler, so you don't have to put your hand in like Justin did. But basically,
somebody took mine.
Yeah, it's been absconded with to be cleared out with.
I have 2. What? Go get me one.
And then, so then you would continue to do that process as long as you have 4 or more inches of ice. Move out a few more feet. Again.
So we're here at Coventry Lake. If you drill a hole and you have 8 inches of ice right from shore, you're probably good to just walk on out at that point. Okay. Thank you. Thanks, buddy.
Scoop.
All right, so we're gonna go back to our hole. I have my ice scoop now. The next step would be you got to clear this hole. You can see this hole right here is all full of slush. You want to clear out all that. Get a nice clean hole.
Like a snow cone.
All right. And now you just want to stick your auger down, we have that much ice, so we are plenty safe. So if we're coming out from shore, I'm saying we got 8, 9 inches, we could walk and we're good to go. As you go, you may want to continue drilling just to make sure you got 8 inches, Then what you're going to want to do is you got to pick a place to fish. You look at a big lake, it's kind of, there's 10% of these spots are going to have a lot of the fish, okay? So they're not just going to be hanging around everywhere. They're not going to be hanging around the deep, dark nothing. They're not going to be hanging around necessarily right in a flat beach. You want to look for either a drop off or rocks or weed beds, something that's going to attract the fish. So where we're fishing is an area that goes from about 10 feet of water, and it drops down gradually. There's a little shelf, but it drops down to like 30 feet of water. So it's got not a lot of different depth. It's got some rocks we see along the shoreline, so things that are going to attract fish. So we're kind of set up in this big group. Once you pick your spot, you get out to the location, you know, you're going to have kind of a lot of gear for ice fishing. You got your auger, your skimmer, and then a couple different styles of fishing, which we're going to go over. One is a jigging rod. We're going to talk about this in great detail. A little mini fishing rod. I'm going to enlist some of our expert volunteer instructors to kind of demonstrate all the tips and tricks. And the other option is a tip up, and that's what we kind of just saw the flag go up on. There's several styles of tip ups, but they all pretty much function the same. It's a you're gonna have a spool of line that's gonna sit in the water, so underneath the water, underneath the ice. And then you're going to have some sort of device that's going to have a flag on it, and you're going to want to set these. I'm going to go through the whole process of from start to finish how to set these up, but you're just going to set them up so that the flag's sitting like this with a live bait. You're going to use live minnows, and when a fish comes and runs, this flag's going to pop up letting you take in your bait, and that's going to let you know that you have a fish on your line. And we'll go over how to set these up in just a few minutes here. So you gotta have a sled to carry your stuff out. I got a cooler with some food and snacks and water for my kids. I have a 5-gallon bucket to sit on. I have a nice lid on this bucket, and it's filled. It's a dry storage area for me. So I got extra clothes. I got a muff to keep my hands warm. I got a windbreaking layer. I got all my extra ice fishing tackle. I have a pair of pliers. You always have to have pliers with you when you're ice fishing, when you're doing any kind of fishing. I got a nice hat. I got an extra set of gloves for my 5-year-old. I got his 3rd pair of gloves because it's inevitably all gonna get wet. Bring lots of extra stuff when you bring kids out here.
And don't forget, you have my fur hat. I've been looking for this
fur hat ice tour.
Oh, I have to put it back on and turn it around so I can see if, oh yeah, much better. If you're gonna ice fish, you gotta have the quintessential fur hat.
Got it.
And I knew that he stole it from me.
Yeah, some of the things we bring ice fishing. I have a thermos with hot coffee. There was a thermos of hot chocolate. It's already all gone. A couple different size augers I have. We have a small auger here. This is 4-inch diameter, and this is a 7-inch. You can see the difference. 4-inch is great. It's going to go through the ice faster than a larger one. It's going to be less work for you, and it's great for jigging, for targeting smaller fish. If you're going to be fishing for some of you're going to see what we actually already caught here in a few minutes. But you're going to want a bigger tip up because
you're going to need a bigger boat.
Yeah, or excuse me, you're going to need a bigger a hole in the ice, because you don't want to catch a big giant lake trout or bass or northern pike or walleye and have it not be able to fit through that hole. So that's with tip ups. A lot of times you will catch some big fish. You're using live bait. You know, you never know. That's the fun of ice fish. You never know what you're going to catch.
Should we go talk to somebody?
Yeah. Let's go talk to some folks and get this party started. Alan! So I think let's start with the jigging.
Yeah, so if you're looking for ice fishing tips and pointers, we have some great videos on the Deep webpage and our YouTube channel. You can subscribe to that. We have 2 playlists. We have the fishing playlist and the Let's Go Fishing playlist, which is our Learn to Fish classes. So, you know, head on out and check that out. You can always see what's going on those videos. We still have a few Zoom classes where we teach this, and then we will be having some group fishing trips. Fishing on most lakes and ponds ends on February 28th, so we still have a little bit of time to do it. But today we're out here and it's great. And now we're gonna get some tips from one of our panfish fishing experts who did his video is up on our webpage and our YouTube page as well. Mike Janeski. How you doing, Mike?
Hey, what's up, everybody?
And Justin, you guys can
Yeah.
take it from here.
I'm actually gonna take a jigging rod. So Mike, what are we doing here?
Well, I'm doing two different things, actually. So what I've got there is called a dead stick. So I've got a small spoon with a minnow on it, and that's down there about 2 feet off the bottom. So it's essentially like a tip up, except it's just a fishing rod. So when I see that rod start to bend over, I can go over and hopefully get the fish. And then I'm just popping around in the general area, searching. A lot of searching today, not a lot of catching, unfortunately, so far. But just searching this big flat for some perch and hopefully a walleye or two. That would be nice.
And so, what's the technique with your rod here?
So basically, I'm just working basically about the bottom 6 feet of the water column. We're in like 16 feet of water. I'm working the bottom 2 or 3 feet pretty aggressively because that's where the perch and walleyes like to hang out. And then I'm coming up, 4, 5, 6 feet, and maybe a lake trout or something will cruise through.
You have any spikes on you?
I do.
So, when you're jigging, folks, you're using little micro fishing poles, 24 inches long max. You need these little rods because look, Mike's hanging right out over over the hole. These bites can be very subtle. You want to use 3-4 pound test. Look at the size of that little jig, maybe 1.5 inches long there. And what we're going to do is tip this jig with live bait. So ice fishing jig, there's a big variety of different jigs, but they're all basically, oh no, I just buried my thing in my glove. Unbelievable.
No pressure.
No, that's all right.
Oh, got it.
We're live. You're good.
That's pretty full too.
That's fishing for you.
So what you're doing here is dropping this little jig down and jiggling it like Mike's doing. And we're gonna tip these with a little live bait. And what these are, oh, that's a spike, which is a larvae of what, Mike?
It's a maggot. It's a fly larva.
So see it moving around?
I don't know the exact fly, but
Maybe
it's a bot fly. Maybe it's a tsetse fly. You better hurry up and put it on your hook before it digs into your skin.
And what we're gonna do here is just add it to the hook, like so.
Since you weren't gonna throw me a rope, then I'm gonna give you the tsetse fly.
And I'm gonna do 2 on here. Oh, we got a flag. Is that same one?
Yeah.
I don't know about that one.
We're gonna wait and see. I think that's another windy.
Okay, so that's what it's gonna look like now. We got a little jig,
Oh, there it is.
couple little spikes on there. All right. Now, me and Mike are just, and notice Mike's got, how many holes in this little area, Mike?
I don't know, a dozen or so.
So
He's been busy.
he's focusing a lot of effort into one little area. The holes are only 5 feet apart, not even. And why do you do it this way, Mike? Why do you have a bunch of holes, and why are they so close to each other?
I started out on the other shoreline just basically drilling a straight row, and then I happened to mark some fish and I caught one there, so I stopped in this area and just drilled some more holes around just to see if
And what is this device you have here?
this is called a
Vexlar.
flasher. Yeah, this is made by Vexlar, and what it does is it shows the depth of the water, and you can see your jig. I don't know if you'll be able to see it with the phone, but you can see the jig falling down there. And so I know exactly where it is. I know if there's any fish down there. I know if there's any fish above my jig, I can reel up to them. Like say I'm on the bottom fishing for the perch, which is where they usually hang out. But the lake trout and crappies and stuff sometimes will suspend 5, 6, 8, 10 feet off the off the bottom. So I can see that happening while I'm jigging down low, and then I can reel up to those fish and try and get one to bite. Or if I'm up high fishing for the fish and I see them down low, I can drop down into them that way too.
Very cool. All right, Justin, what's your tip now?
So you got your jig all baited up. You want to drop that down to the bottom. I don't have a fancy flasher like Mike. Mike spends I'm not even going to talk about it because his wife may be watching, but in unbelievable amount of time on the ice. He catches an amazing amount of fish. He's very good at what he does. But because he's going so much, he's investing some, a couple dollars into the equipment that's gonna help him gain some better success. I like to go a lot, but I haven't taken the step. So I'm just doing it old school. I'm dropping it down to the bottom, and I'm just slowly giving it a couple bounces. And Mike, notice what Mike's doing. This is how you know he knows what's going on. He's moving from hole to hole. If he's not getting a bite, and he waits only a minute or two because he's got that flasher, but I may give it 5 minutes. And if I don't get a bite, I'm moving to a new hole. So be mobile when you're jigging. This could be an extremely productive way of fishing. Mike, what would like a really good day of jigging? How many fish? 100?
Easy, yeah.
200 fish in a day jigging. It's not unheard of. It's not even uncommon.
I might drill 10 holes and catch 200 fish. I might drill 200 holes and catch 10.
Yep. So it's moving around. It's finding the fish when you're jigging. And what we're looking for, did you talk about this fish yet or no?
Nope.
So these are the fish you're kind of targeting when you're jigging. This is a panfish. It's a yellow perch. Native fish to Connecticut. Yellow perch has a pretty big mouth for its little size. Really beautiful fish, bright red, orange fins, yellow and olive kind of vertical barring on them. They got these spines, sharp dorsal spines, and this is protection from predators. So if a big bass came and tried to eat them from behind, this fish would get stuck in their mouth. They wouldn't be able to swallow them. So really beautiful native fish to Connecticut. They've been here since the Ice Age, 15,000 years. Still have them. They're a panfish again. There's no limit on panfish, no size limit. You keep them at whatever size you want. Whatever you keep, just make sure you're going to eat though. And they're one of the favorites for people who like to jig. So you're looking for panfish. So yellow perch, sunfish, black crappies. I think the reason panfish got their name panfish is because they belong in the frying pan. They're absolutely delicious. They are white meat. They're very mild. They are fantastic fried or baked in so many ways. But one of my absolute favorites, this is what I really come ice fishing for, is I like to catch panfish, yellow perch particularly.
Yeah, it makes a great fish taco.
Yes.
You're making me hungry now already.
One of the best. So any other tips, Mike? What do you got here? What kind of drill are you sprocking?
That's just it's an electric, just a regular electric drill like most people have hanging around their shop in their garage or whatever that they use for work. And there's just an adapter here that it mounts to, and that's actually the same auger that Justin was using earlier. That's a hand auger here. Just took the handle off.
So you saw me do my hand drilling before. How does this thing even work? I see. Oh, I got it. Okay. Let's see this. So that took me about 10 seconds. Whoop. Just died. Wow, this thing is... I'm not used to this thing. Wow. Here's the expert.
I'm gonna drill some holes anyway. So.
And it's that easy.
Nice.
The thing I like about the hand drills is that if you're getting cold or you need to warm up, then you can warm up a little bit by drilling those holes. So who's next up, Justin?
Paul, we got some more folks over here. I would love for, is anybody setting up a tip up? Can anybody go through the process?
No. Well,
I guess I could do it.
All right, let's.
I would love somebody else, but any questions out there on the jigging? Move around, find a weed bed, find weeds. Panfish love the weeds.
Should we show?
Yeah.
A teaser?
So a few earlier we've been out on the ice since about 7 a.m. Early bird gets the worm, you know, and one of our Paul Donor over here, longtime care volunteer, was out here jigging and felt a little tug on his line and Paul came up with this.
What?
Yep. So
What is that?
The
It's gonna eat the
division this year. Took advantage of 500 extra lake trout. This is not a fish you would typically see in Connecticut. This is a lake trout, and it came from a federal hatchery in Massachusetts that they were surplus brood stock. Okay, so that means the brood stock fish is a fish that fish hatcheries will keep till they are adults, and they use them for eggs and to grow the next cohort of fish in the hatcheries. Once they've served their purpose, they stock them for people to catch. And these lake trout are used for restoration efforts in the Great Lakes. They're surplus or extra, so Connecticut took advantage, and we got 500 lake trout, and we stocked them into 5 or 6 different lakes in Connecticut, and we just happened to jig one up this morning, so pretty awesome. All that information is on our website. But it looks like we can, let's set up a tip up over here. Walk through the whole process.
All right, so tip ups and jigging rods are the 2 ways that you fish through the ice.
Again, the jigging rod, little jigs, light line, wax worms, mousies, spikes, or what you want to have on there, okay? And you're going for panfish. Tip up's totally different. When you're fishing with a tip up, you're using live bait, live minnows. You're not actively sitting there jigging. You're letting the live bait swim around and do everything themselves. So, where's your minnows? Where's the minnows? Oh, okay.
We have some over there too.
Okay. Well, I'll let one of these, Logan, bring those over. So we got a,
This way.
gotta get my skimmer.
All right, so again, thanks for everybody for tuning in. We hope you're getting some good tips and pointers on ice fishing here. Many of the lakes and ponds, especially from middle of Connecticut north, are frozen up pretty good. Again, 4 inches of ice is the minimum to be safe to go out there. And we really do miss having the big crowds out at Burr Pond, miss seeing you guys, everyone catching their first fish experience. But hopefully this live video here is doing a little bit of justice and getting you while you're preparing for the big game tomorrow. So Justin's back with his skimmer, and we'll pick it up here.
All right, guys and gals. So we got a hole in the ice. This might be the one I drilled earlier. Clean it all out. You got to clean this hole out. You got to have nothing but water. And you're cleaning this out with the ice skimmer. It's like a soup ladle with holes in it. So it filters out all the water and just gets the chunks of ice. So this is what we want. The reason you want a clean hole here is because you're going to be doing a little bit of work in here, setting your tip ups up. If you have ice in here, the minnow is going to get caught up and not drop to the bottom. You want to be fishing about 1 foot to 2 feet off the bottom. All the fish, besides maybe trout, are going to be right down on the bottom. And you're going to take your tip up.
Do you know someone named Kathy Wiggins?
No, it doesn't sound familiar.
Someone's stalking you on Facebook Live.
Hi, Mom.
And me.
Thanks for the support. So we got a hook. This is the tip up. This is a number 6 hook right here. I got about a 1 foot leader. I got a nice split shot on the leader. The split shot's gonna bring your minnow down to the bottom. Okay, so you gotta have a split shot on there. Then I have a barrel swivel. And then this is day crown ice fishing line. Day crown, something like that. It's just a thick line. The reason you have a big thick line here is because you're pulling the line in. You're not using your reel. You're pulling the line in. So if you had monofilament line, it's a regular fishing line, it would get all tangled up and frozen. So you have this special ice fishing line, okay? And then you're gonna have an indicator of some sort to mark your depth. So you could use a button. I got a button on this line that I can slide up and down. And the way that works, buttons are nice because you just put the line in one hole, out the other, and it slides on the line very easily. You could also use a split shot and just mark the line with your split shot, but you're gonna see what I'm talking about when I say mark the line. You know, what am I doing here, dude?
You're gonna put that onto the hook and then drop it down to the bottom. And then you're gonna mark the bottom, pull it up a few feet, and then you're gonna hook the minnow and set it.
That's it.
Excellent.
So that's my nephew Logan, been ice fishing for many years now. And what he's explaining is we're gonna sound the hole, which means find the depth. and you want to be fishing about a foot off the bottom. So first thing, you got to have a sounder. And what a sounder is, it's a little lead ball with an alligator clip attached to it. You clip that to your hook, and then you're going to drop this down the bottom and keep dropping until the line goes slack. Well, we're hearing some hooting and hollering, so somebody must be catching fish. We'll go check in with everybody right after I get this boring lesson out of the way. So I know I'm on the bottom here because I don't feel weight anymore, okay? Now I feel weight. So what I'm gonna do is take my button, slide it right there. It is right there. That's bottom, okay? So I know my button is now at the ice, where the tip up's gonna sit on the ice, and whatever's underneath it here is the bottom. So we're in 6, 12, about 15 feet of water here. I'm gonna take my sounder off. Okay, and I always just clip the sounder right here.
And if you're also interested, we have a video on our YouTube page and our Care webpage about how to sound a hole, so you can watch it over and over again if you missed that. But it's really important if you want to make sure you have your bait fishing at the right and correct depth to make sure you know how deep the water is that you're fishing.
This is what you use it for bait. Live shiners, live minnows. These are just Arkansas shiners. You can buy them at your bait and tackle shop. All right. Size we're using here are smalls and mediums because we're looking for bass, panfish. Number 6 hook. Take that hook, put it right beneath the dorsal fin on the fish, just like that, and it's gonna stay lively as can be. It's gonna live all day long if you put them just like this. Drop it in the hole. Look at them swimming around, no problem. If you go too deep in the back, you're gonna pierce some internal organs. You don't wanna do that. You want to stay alive. Drop this down. Drop your bait down.
That's a Super Bowl snack for a largemouth bass right there. That's like buffalo chicken dip.
Yeah, buddy. So we'll see what we get here. But, you know, again, this is for just about anything. Perch, crappies, bass, pickerel, walleye. They'll all eat this. Okay? You're going to want to reel your line up to that button. Now comes, not the tricky part, but something, when this sits in the water, this is going to all be underwater here. So you want to move that button from here down. And then again, you want to be about a foot or 2 feet off the bottom. So you want to move the button. Here's a foot and a half. Now I have my button set to keep, it takes into account that this is going to be sitting underwater, and then you want to be 2 feet off the bottom. So my button set, I don't have to sound this hole again. I'm good for the rest of the day. You reel your line up on your spool. Okay, get set up there, drop your tip up into the ice, set your flag, and this thing's fishing. Now, all you really got to do at this point is monitor them. You have to be within them. Each person who's ice fishing is allowed 6 devices per person, so your name and address has got to be on it. My name and address is all right here. Okay, on my flag, I write it in permanent marker. 6 per person. I got my 5-year-old with me, so I'm allowed 12 out here today if I wanted them. You could have a combination of tip ups and jigging rods. You could have all tip ups. You could do whatever you want, but no more than 6 per person. And all you do now is wait, and hopefully when a fish comes and starts swimming away with this, that flag's gonna go up and indicate that you have a bite. All right, so hopefully we see some flags flying in the next half an hour before this little live session is done.
All right, so we'll throw it out there. I can see your comments coming in on the bottom of the screen. We have a little bit of a lag time, so if you have any questions for us and on ice fishing, Justin or myself, we're gladly to help you out here, and we'll try to take a little walk around, show you one more thing over here, maybe some different shelters that people use if they want to be out on the ice, and not unlike today with this incredible, beautiful blue sky and warm sunshine, and then probably upper 20s, low 30s right now. Not too much wind, but if you did have a really windy day or a little bit cooler day, people use shelters that can attach right into the ice. So that's another type of ice fishing gear that you can use.
So this is something like this is particularly good on a really crappy day, like Mike said. and or when you have a bunch of kids, you can throw them all in there, lock them in, and you don't got to worry about keeping track of them. So that's the real benefit.
That's the honest. It's worth its weight in gold if you're taking your kids fishing.
But seriously, on a 0-degree day, you get a heater in there, and you know, it's 60, 70 degrees, so it is very valuable, and they're just fun to have out here.
Yeah. All right, so we had a couple questions. A depth, Doug Dar, what depth is safe ice? Well, we consider 4 inches of clear, solid ice to be safe for ice fishing. Anything less than that, and you may be asking for a swim, and that would not be good.
Let's go check out. We'll head out to see Tom Trivolati real quick, and then kind of mosey on in and check on everybody's progress.
It hasn't been very fast and furious, I have to admit, but part of being in fishing is being more about being outdoors, enjoying the weather, enjoying being outside, and enjoying socially distant camaraderie. Ice fishing is great for that because you can spread around on top of the entire surface of the ice.
So we got a bunch of what looks like very serious ice jiggers lined up right here.
Look at that.
Tom, Justin, and Tom's daughter, Audrey. How's it going, guys?
Say hi to Facebook, Connecticut Facebook, Fish and Wildlife.
What are you guys looking for out here?
Well, we're trying to find perch, mostly.
You find any yet?
One out there, but haven't gotten anything over here.
What do you like about perch, Tom?
They taste delicious.
Taste delicious. Another perch eater.
Usually they're pretty abundant, too. When you get one, sometimes they school up and you'll get a whole bunch.
Yep.
Sometimes you can get as many as a bucket full of them and bring them home and freeze them and eat them as you need them.
There you go.
Tom, do you want to give everybody a show of what you have on there?
Oh,
His secret lure?
Well, it's not working great right now, but I use a small Swedish pimple.
A pimple?
A pimple.
Ew. They like pimples?
Yeah, I like pimples. So that's silver. They call it nickel. It's a really small one. It's only 1 inch long, and it has a little glow-in-the-dark strip. And every once in a while, I pull it up and I let the sun charge it up a little bit, and makes a lot of flashing. And it looks kind of like just an attractant to the fish. Sometimes the flashing looks like a minnow, or sometimes it actually looks like a bunch of fish that are flashing when they feed. Because a lot of fish, when they feed, they turn sideways and they make a kind of a flashing color, and this will attract the fish. And then I just use a couple of grubs. So they're called spikes, little maggots.
Awesome.
But
now you gave me some big pointers the other day when we were out with our CARE Zoom ice fishing class out on Burr Pond.
yeah.
And you said, unlike the warmer months, when you go looking for the fish, when you're ice fishing, what do you have to do?
Well, you got to bring them to you.
You got to bring them to you, right? Because you're
Yep.
sitting here in a place.
So you're on a big lake that's 1,000+ acres or whatever this is, and you're fishing in a 6-inch circle. So you really don't have a whole lot of, you're not casting, you're not drifting or trolling like you can in the summer. You can move from hole to hole, but no matter where you're fishing, you're only fishing in a 6-inch circle no matter how you do it, or an 8-inch if you have an 8-inch auger. So it's pretty small. But basically, I tried jigging. It makes some vibrations down there, and the fish can feel that from quite a distance. They have a lot of nerve sensory perceptors that are under their skin and then along their lateral line, and it helps them feel those vibrations, and they come in.
I got a question for you, Tom.
Sure.
Why is Audrey always catching more fish than you?
Because I taught her well. Because I'm old and dumb.
We're going to go talk to Audrey for a second.
Yeah, talk to the real fisherman.
All right, so here's Tom's
Why
daughter.
do you catch more fish than your dad, Audrey? That's what
I don't know, I'm lucky.
All right, so what's your number one tip for people to go out ice fishing? Because I heard you've been ice fishing since you were 6 months old?
Yeah.
Tom takes you out in the backpack?
I don't know, I'd say dress warmly.
Dress
Yeah.
warmly?
It's important if you're cold and don't feel good on the ice, then you just don't want to go fishing. So if you have lots of layers, bring extra socks and mittens. I'd say that's definitely a good thing to do.
And what is your, do you have the Swedish pimple on there too? Or are you going different than your dad?
That's a Haley, dude.
And notice, one thing I kind of neglected, but all these guys got out here is a bucket. You got to have a bucket to sit on when you're ice fishing.
So a little bit different.
A little bit different.
It's a Haley jig.
Haley jig.
You guys are hungry.
All right, so thank you, and make sure you guys hoot and holler. Thanks for coming out and volunteering to be an instructor with our Connecticut Aquatic Resource Education Program. Without volunteer instructors, we wouldn't be able to teach all the people that take our classes every year how to fish, how to ice fish, how to saltwater fish. So let's see you catch something good. And most importantly, you do look warm. Are you warm?
Yes, I am.
All right, and you guys came from Vermont, so I know
Oh, yeah.
you know how to dress warm. Not today, but you moved down from Vermont. All right, thanks, guys. We're gonna go. Any words of wisdom before we leave you to your quietness and solitude?
Yeah, fish where the fish are.
Fish where the fish are. All right, well, we'll be back to see your catch.
Take care.
So we have a brand new ice angler out here, Justin. This is Justin joined us in one of our Zoom classes this year, and he's been kind of emailing me, asking me a bunch of questions. You're new into fishing this year, is that correct?
Yeah, definitely.
So the squeaky wheel kind of gets the grease. I figure we'd have, one of our Zoom participants, and the CARE program. Normally we teach ice fishing classes in person. We couldn't do it this year. We're doing them on Zoom. And just because he's been emailing me, asking me questions, new to fishing, I figured I'd invite him out here for the day so he could get some attention from our CARE instructors. The squeaky wheel kind of gets the grease. So Justin, can you just tell us, how would you rate on a scale of 1 to 10 your Zoom instructor?
Oh man, 12.
There you go. So
12.5.
you're. I didn't even have to pay him to say that. But no, on a serious note, though, are you prepared for today? How do you feel?
Yeah, I'm really, really excited. This is my first time, and so I'm just trying to be like a sponge, ask everybody as many questions as I can, and learn as much as I can. So far, it's been fun.
Yeah, you've been getting out quite a bit fishing. This is your first year fishing. You lived in Connecticut your whole life, or?
Yeah. I'm back and forth from New York, but I grew up in Connecticut.
Cool.
And yeah, once the coronavirus hit, I moved up to Westbrook on the shore, Connecticut, and just figured this is the best time to learn to fish. And yeah, it took me a few months to sort of get the hang of stuff, but by the end of the season in the fall, I was so addicted that I couldn't stop. So that's why I'm on the ice now.
Awesome, great story. Thanks for joining us, man. Thanks for your support of Connecticut fishing.
I appreciate it.
And welcome to the club. Just try to watch out for Mike Janeski. When we talked earlier, he spends quite a bit of ching at the fishing store. Yeah. All right, thank you, Justin.
All right, guys. So we got woo!
Now this is
I
where
don't
the
have my
spikes.
cleats on right
This is
now.
where the cleats would have come in good.
And we're just sliding around. And we'll go check in. What do we got, Bob? You get any fish yet? Oh, this is so Bob has a completely different setup right here. This is pretty cool. Bob, can you explain what this is?
This is called an Arctic.
Hold on, Bob. We got to get you on camera here first.
Hang on.
Okay.
Let me hook this in. This is what they call an Arctic Warrior. It's so that you can use a rod. Comes with an adapter. And basically what you're doing is you're just lowering it down. Get it to where you're pretty close to the bottom. You leave your bail open. You catch your line on this little hook. And this little hook goes through this little hole over here.
Interesting. I've never seen this.
I've never seen it either.
And when a fish grabs it, you pull down on the flag, goes up, drops your line, you got an open bail and takes off.
Very interesting.
So this is cool because you actually get to use a tip up. You're using live bait, but you get to fight the fish with a jigging rod.
Exactly.
As opposed to reeling in. One thing I didn't talk about is when that flag does go up with the tip up, you're pulling the line in by your hand over hand. So with this device, you get to reel in the fish. It's pretty cool. Thanks,
Very
Bob.
interesting.
Right.
Thank you.
Alrighty, take care.
Thank you for coming out today.
All right.
All right, we got a good showing of our CARE volunteers. Again, we have a contingent of about 200 active volunteers who help us with our Learn to Fish classes. Their volunteer match helps us with our federal sport fish restoration dollars, which means the CARE program doesn't cost the state of Connecticut any money whatsoever. It's all paid for through in-kind, volunteer, and federal support through your license sales. So thank you for that.
Longtime CARE instructor Paul Dona, kind of a celebrity.
A celebrity? Yeah, this is the
Big
guy.
lake trout. So, Paul, give us some. You spend a lot of time ice fishing all over the Northeast. You were in Lake Winnipesaukee last week. What is your ice fishing hot tip, man? What do you got to share with everybody?
I'll show you.
All right, I like it.
He's going to show us. That's good because we're live. It's kind of boring if we're not doing anything.
All right, so We're using Janeski's bait at tackle. I light it up, glow it up. Make sure you check the drag. Drop it down. You can tell it's on the bottom when the top curls. All right, so you jig, jig, jig. See, I'm a lefty, but my hot tip is drop it down. See it curl? Bounce it. And then bring it up a little bit. Jig, jig, jig. Wash the tip. Watch something slam it.
I hope so.
I hope so too. You play keep away. You drink less coffee, so you wash the tip. Sometimes the fish takes it and had to set the hook on my tippy toes, but then you just try the whole procedure. Another tip is as it's going down, you stop it and you jig, jig, jig. So you work the whole water column. We're in 17 feet of water, so you do it every 2, 3, 4 feet. And then on the bottom, then reel it up a little bit, jig, jig, jig. Reel it up a little bit, jig, jig. Play keep away, because they're looking at that jig down there, just like they're looking at it, and they don't know what to do. So finally, one of them just kisses it, and the tip will just move up or down. That's when he set the hook.
I got my hot tip. I just found it.
What'd you find?
Right here. Can you zoom in right here? When you're out ice fishing, look for this. Everybody see that? That's blood on the ice. Where there's blood on the ice, that means people were catching fish.
Yep.
So that's really something. You come out, you see a bunch of old holes. There's nobody around. There's a bunch of holes. There's some holes that have a bunch of blood around the ice. That is a hot tip. That's a good spot to fish. What else do we come over there and check out?
Let's see. We're hoping to get a flag sometime soon here.
I know. No flag. This is slow.
Not for any lack of effort, let's say.
All right. Let's go do Jack Cadeau.
Well, we're going across the slippery stuff. Hopefully I won't end up on my back end, because I didn't bring my creepers either, because I figured it was going to be all snowy and slushy, but it's really not. It's perfect conditions out here today. If you have the chance to go ice fishing near you, put those Super Bowl plans aside for now and get outside and fish. All right.
We got you live on Facebook, man.
Ooh, and the wind's starting to pick up.
So Jack Cadeau, longtime care instructor. If you've ever taken a walling care class, you had John, the pleasure of John teaching you.
Yep.
What do you got going on here, John?
Well, I've got 3 minnows out, but I always like to try and catch a big fish. So I'm jigging with something big and with a rattle in it.
Wow.
And
Let's
that's
see that.
a piece of that's gold minnow. That's not a real minnow. And so I'm trying to call in something big, and then if they won't hit this big bait, they might hit one of these minnows that I have around me.
So just like we heard from Tom over there, instead of going to the fish, you're trying to bring the fish to you, right?
Right. So I have something on big with it, and then I'll switch if I don't get anything on this. But usually you start up high and really make it dance around, and they might not hit it, but they might hit your baits that are around it.
And this looks kind of cool. What's this? What's that all about?
So that's an old floor mat from the car that I've cut to keep the. I use that to keep my holes from freezing over and keep them dark.
Oh,
So.
very nice. So it keeps the hole open and
Yep.
doesn't freeze. If it's today, it probably won't freeze
Probably
too bad.
not a big deal
But
today,
some days when it's cold,
I
it'll
don't know,
just.
I like to keep the holes dark too.
Dark, yeah.
Yeah.
Dark is a good one.
And
I'll
that,
tell you another good tip is you put one of these little chemical hand warmers in your mitten.
yeah.
They're really cheap and they really make you toasty all day.
That's genius.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good tip.
Staying warm and staying comfortable is all key to being outdoors for any
One
activity.
other tip I'll give you is I've read it in an outdoor magazine, but there's some alpaca farms in Connecticut, and if you order online a pair of alpaca socks, they are the warmest.
All right.
Yeah.
The reason I kind of wanted to come talk to John is because he's kind of the opposite of Mike. Mike's looking for little panfish with those little micro jigs. John is a big fish guy. He spends all his time going after northern pike and big predators.
Right.
The cool thing about Connecticut is you got it all probably within 15, 20 minutes of your house. Not many states, not many places in this country you have Long Island Sound and northern pike and walleye, but great perch and crappies. We got it all. and whatever, you know, is your flavor, you got that option. I kind of like panfish because I like fish to eat. John likes to struggle with fish half the size of him. We have it all here, so you know, a lot of variety and a lot of options.
Plus, you can go for all those, and there's a lot of bass everywhere now, so you can get bass incidentally. And
Yeah.
so you get some bigger fish even when you're going for really big or really small.
Yep. So completely different approaches we have here, but you know, hopefully we're gonna see some fish as the day goes on. It's been slow right now, but that's also fishing, you know.
Yep.
That's why we're going to come back at 1 o'clock, 1:15 or so to check in, and
Sometimes you get an activity level.
Yep.
and hopefully we'll have that big pulse.
Yep.
It's not going to be for a lack of effort. We've got about 15 or so care instructors out here, all with their tip-ups, all trying to get something for you guys to see through the ice. And luckily, that big laker and a couple perch came through. But I have faith it's going to pick up.
I think we will. So, yeah, I think we're about running out of time here. So, yeah, check back in with us at about 1:15. Bring your questions. We'll show you what kind of progress we've made in the fish department, and kind of wrap up the day. But yeah, if you guys want to learn how to fish, if you don't know how to fish, the Connecticut Aquatic Resource Education Program, part of our fisheries division, we offer free learn to fish classes. You know, ice fishing, open water, salt water, trout, everything. So check out our Google CT Deep Learn to Fish, and you know, you'll see some of these great volunteers here throughout the next year. Take care, guys. See you in a few hours.
All right. Thank you again, everybody.
Thanks, John.
We'll see you soon. And if I didn't get to your question, I'll try to go back through the comments and respond to them for you there. We'll talk to you later. All right. We'll see you this afternoon. Enjoy the day, and go tune into the other great programs that are coming up.